right, good evening, folks in town of Auburn. Thank you very much for coming to the 2025 debate for our moderators and our selectmen. My name is Brandon Hill. I have the joy and pleasure to do this again, third year in a row. And tonight we're going to ask questions for our moderators who are running. Also, we are going to have open questions from our public members here, and should be a good night. Nice, quick, short, and simple. So, so basically, just give the rundown. So the candidates will have 3 to 5 minutes for an introduction. The number of questions will be determined by time and moderator discretion. The order of questions will be determined by a random drawing conducted by the moderators. Candidates posed a question will have 2 minutes to respond with. Opponents allowed up to 1 minute for rebuttal. Follow-up questions for clarity are the moderator's discretion. Additional time for the candidate initially posed the question is at the discretion of the moderator. Closing statements will be limited to 2 minutes with an order decided by random drawing of the candidates by the moderators. So again, we thank you here for tonight. To my left, I have Doreen Goodrich and Glenn Feldman, who are both running for moderator for the town of Auburn. And I also have fellow Steve Chambers, who's running unopposed for selectman. And we're going to start off with the moderators tonight. And first one, I'm going to have Doreen Goodrich to give an opening statement, as well as Glenn, and then we'll get into the questions. So, Doreen?
Thank you. First, I want to thank you, Brandon, Chris and Rich, who are here from ACTV, the residents here, and those watching at home or the YouTube at a later date. For the past 35 years, I've been a proud resident of Auburn. My late husband, Howie, and I raised our children here, both of whom still live in Auburn. Over the years, I have continuously invested in our community in a variety of roles, including, serving 12 years as an elected member of the Select Board, as an elected town meeting member serving in, yes, Precinct 4, 5, and 3, and as my husband always joked with our realtor, she'll move anywhere as long as it's in Auburn. And now I currently serve as assistant moderator, first being appointed in 2023. I understand the importance of an organized, well-run town meeting where participants are engaged and members are treated with fairness and decorum. Town meeting is an opportunity for those elected to represent the residents, to participate in local government decisions, and has been in practice in New England since the early 1600s. The importance of local town meetings cannot be overstated. It is my hope to continue to serve the town as your next moderator. I'm running because I want to continue to serve, and I believe that Auburn deserves a moderator with experience who recognizes the significant impact of town meeting on the everyday lives of residents. I bring years of government experience to the position, and if elected, I will uphold the position with the respect it deserves. I look forward to answering your questions tonight about the moderator's race, and at the conclusion of tonight's forum, I will respectfully ask you for your vote on May 20th. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to leave this to Glenn. Mr. Feldman.
Thank you, Brandon, and once again, thank you for what you're doing, and I'm glad your health is improving.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hope you're able to do this for a long time. I'm here tonight with my wife, Sandy. The 19th of this month, we will celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary. We have a daughter who lives at Cape Cod. We have 2 grandchildren. Currently a driver for Worcester County Air Freight right here in Auburn. I've been a town meeting member for almost 20 years. And I sit on the Auburn Planning Board as well. On Tuesday, next Tuesday, we will have another town meeting. And I believe it's going to be the last meeting for Charlie Baker. Yes. And I first fell in love with town meeting when I first started going to the meetings, and Charlie was early on in his tenure as the moderator. And he just had an aura about him, and just had a handle on everything, and that booming voice. and he's done a tremendous job over the years, so I think we're going to give him a heck of a standing ovation
I think so.
on Tuesday. Fellow citizens, I am honored to be here this evening as a candidate for town moderator. With almost 20 years of experience participating in town meetings, I am confident in my ability to lead effectively. Currently, our town meeting is at a crossroads, and I believe it is time for a new leader with fresh ideas to lead town meeting. I believe my leadership skills and experience at town meeting can help guide us forward. As moderator, I will ensure that all voices are heard and that we follow procedures laid out in town meeting time, which is our Bible. I'll work to create a vibrant atmosphere at town meeting and stronger member participation and attendance. At town meeting, the members decide when it's time to debate and when the time is right to vote on issues, and my role will be to facilitate discussion and ensure everyone has a chance to be heard. Thank you, and I look forward to your consideration and support in this election. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Feldman. All right, so we're going to start off with a few questions, all right? Kind of answered some of them in the beginning with the opening statements. But one of the questions that I have for you, I'm not going to say this one, but maybe I will.
Go for it.
And I think we've answered this one, but I'm going to ask you again. Why are you both running for town moderator? Does that sound?
Who's first?
You go ahead, Tony.
I'll go first.
All right.
You know, as I said in my opening statement, I've served the community for many, many years, not just, you know, in elected positions, but, you know, when the kids are younger, you serve, you know, the Cub Scouts, the Vacation Bible School, the soccer coach. It's just, I truly love Auburn, and I've served, with the exception of my stint as a 12-year select board member, served as a longtime town meeting member. I truly believe in town meeting. I believe in, you know, representative form of town meeting. I wish more residents would reach out to their town meeting members to have their voices heard. But I truly believe in giving back to a community that has given so much to me. And I will put it right out there, first question, especially since, you know, I lost my husband. This community has given so much to me. And after almost a year, I just felt it's time to take baby steps back into the forum. So I have a lot to offer, and I'm confident in that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Glenn, same question.
Yes, I agree with Doreen as far as the representative form of town meeting being the best. I think there's only around here, there's only Shrewsbury has the same form of town meeting as we have. And it's a beautiful thing. I've always enjoyed it so much, and the idea to run for the office came to me about 4 or 5 years ago. And running is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun getting in the campaign, and I enjoy it. And I really like to lead and serve the town.
All right, great. Thank you so much. All right, next question. Excuse me. Describe your approach to conducting pre-town meetings and orienting newly elected town meeting members on their roles and responsibilities of being a town meeting member. Start with you, Glenn. Go ahead. I'm sorry?
Can you repeat that again?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Describe your approach to conducting pre-town meetings and orienting newly elected town meeting members on their roles and responsibilities of being a town meeting member.
I think that those are two separate things. The pre-town meeting is usually run by the town manager or the interim town manager, as we had this year. But the introduction of new members would be something I would take to heart. And I think that they should be recognized, they should be spoken to, and have other people mentor them if they have questions and they have issues coming in as a new member. There should be more done to solidify a new member coming in to make sure that they stick with us, because we need the members and we need them to show up, especially on a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. We need them there.
Good, absolutely. Doreen, same question to you.
Thanks so much. So, yeah, I believe it's two separate issues. The pre-town meeting is done, organized by town administration, the select board, and that's to go over the warrant articles. But I absolutely believe, and have felt this for a long time, that as a new town meeting member, it would certainly be helpful to have something in advance of your first town meeting, because you walk in there, you don't know what you're doing. I know my first few town meetings, I had this packet, I was handed, some paperwork, and, before we had the electronic voting, you raise your hand or you stood up. And I think it's important that town meeting members, first of all, have a clear understanding of what their role is when they walk in and how it operates. I can remember, somebody saying to me many years ago, "Why did you make that motion?" I said, "Oh, it wasn't my motion. You're handed these motions to read when you walk in. They're not the person who reads the motion. They're not their motions." I said, "These are done far in advance, but people think like because you read it and you made you read the motion, it's your motion." So I think it's really important that we do have, some type of first meeting, pre-meeting or whatever, offer it to town meeting members. If they don't want to do it, fine, but at least let them learn the lingo and, get to understand what their role is in town meeting.
Excellent, great.
Thanks.
No, you're welcome. All right, next question. Like I said, this is going to be pretty quick tonight. So one question is, as you may know, many of our town meeting members are longtime serving members. How, if all, do you plan on providing ongoing training and support the town meeting members to enhance their understanding of town meeting procedures and issues? Would you like to answer that one first?
Sure. Again, like I just said, if elected, I do plan on holding something, I would believe shortly after the election, rather than waiting until the following May to do it, where people are excited about being newly elected town meeting members. And again, possibly meet at the high school if it's available, let them know this is how it operates. Each precinct has so many town meeting members, the school committee does their report, the Board of Selectmen does their report, and kind of familiarize it with them and let them know it's okay to stand up and ask a question, because there's no stupid question if it's yours.
Very good, very nice. Glenn, how about yours?
Well, I would like to add to that I think we should take a pledge this evening that we would work together, no matter who wins, that we could work on that project right there to initiate conversations with the new town meeting members. I think it would be a great idea, and even if I lost, I'd be more than happy to work with Doreen.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. Excellent. All right. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the next questions to our members here tonight. If you have a question you'd like to ask the candidates, there's a podium right there. If you don't mind, just by all means, feel free to step up and ask our candidates a question. And I believe our first one is Mr. Chambers.
Doesn't want to feel left out.
I certainly will break the ice. Thank you for coming. I know we don't have a whole lot on the ballot this year, but contested race is always fun. Mr. Feldman, you had mentioned in your opening that you would help facilitate, good discussion around the articles. I'm wondering if each of you can tell me if there was a time that an article was presented that there wasn't as much discussion as you would have liked to have seen, or maybe a motion was made to move the article and, there was maybe a difference in opinion, and how you'd manage that aspect to facilitate more discussion but still respect the rules of town meeting. And if someone's making a motion to move that, how would you handle that aspect?
Well, Steve, thank you for your question. That's the conundrum right there. It's really up to the town meeting members as to how long the debate is going to go on. So if they decide that they want to move the question or send it to a vote, and someone seconds that, and then they vote on that motion, that's what's going to be happening. It's not really up to the moderator to extend the debate. However short the town meeting members want it to be, however long the town meeting members want it to be, is how long it's going to be.
All right.
Do you want me to answer that too?
Sure, absolutely.
So, so to answer the first part of your question, yes, I've sat in town meeting where I felt that, I was really unsure of where town meeting members were going. I felt that there were still unanswered questions out there, yet the question was moved, and, it ended discussions. But again, town meeting times, that's how it goes. When you move the question, it ends discussion. So as moderator, I certainly want to make sure that I'm, scanning the audience, making sure I'm aware of town meeting members. And I want to make sure that, that members from each precinct get an opportunity to ask a question before, a lot of the times you see somebody jump up and ask a second question before somebody has had an opportunity to ask their first question. So, I know this wouldn't go over, but, I wouldn't be opposed to, being able to recognize people by precinct because they've been elected to represent the residents of their precinct. And I think it's important that you get questions from each precinct, as well as both sides of the issue.
Thank you very much.
Did that answer your question?
It did. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for asking.
Thank you, Steve. Would anybody else like to ask a question? Absolutely, Mr. Carpenter.
This side and asking questions, I don't mind saying. So on this town meeting, we have several articles that are by citizen petition. Currently, it's not clear as to how that would be handled as far as presentations, whereas we're accustomed to it being staff or a board vote or sponsorship. How would you handle the fact that a citizen's petition is before town meeting? What would you do to ensure that they were allowed to speak? And if members of the public come, they're not elected, it's up to the moderator as to who they recognize. Would you or would you not allow a non-elected member of the public ask a question?
Want me to answer first?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I would treat every question the same way, every article the same way, whether it was citizen petition or brought by a department or whatever. I think it has just as much bearing and just as much weight as any other article. And as far as allowing, I would probably put a limit on how many people I would allow speak that were not town meeting members. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if town meeting members themselves had great interest in asking questions on that. So that would be my answer.
Thank you. So, yes, there are an unusual large number of citizens petitions on this year's warrant. When it comes to the warrant articles, I would absolutely allow the petitioner to speak on the article and explain to town meeting why they've brought this forward. Keep in mind that it takes 10 signatures to get a citizen's petition on the warrant, so it's an easy lift to get something on the warrant. I would certainly hope that town meeting members had questions for the petitioner, and a lot of questions. And if not, somebody may, you don't know what motion's going to come when it comes to the citizens' petitions. But I believe town meeting members have a right to ask as many questions as they want. Where we do differ is we are a representative form of town meeting. So it's the town meeting members who are allowed to ask questions. We have department heads, we have different boards and commissions there to answer questions, so it's appropriate that they do, but I believe that residents have been given plenty of opportunity at the different boards and commissions to ask their questions and raise their concerns, or, as they should be doing, reach out to their representative town meeting member so that they can ask that question. So again, here we are, light on the town meeting members and light on contested races, and I encourage all town meeting members to reach out to all residents, I'm sorry, in each precinct to reach out to your town meeting members and express how you feel. We're not elected as town meeting members for our own personal views. And I know that people I spoke with in Precinct 4 had different views than the town meeting members that reached out to me in Precinct 5. I had to represent the town meeting members in Precinct 5 and their views, not my personal views. So we have what I believe, an excellent form of government and town meeting. We have representative town meeting. I just encourage more people to reach out to their town meeting members. So I probably went a little long, but I feel strongly about this. Town meeting is our form of government, and town meeting members are the voice of town meeting.
Right, great. Thank you so much. All right. Last chance. Anybody would like to ask a question? Going once, going twice. All right. All right, great. So, with that being said, my last question to you for closing statement is there a question you wish we all had asked that you would have had an opportunity to answer to see a fellow candidate have to answer?
Me? No, I don't, first of all, I don't believe in playing gotcha,
No problem.
and with the moderator's race, I mean, I think we've covered it.
I do have a question.
Sure.
What was it like for you watching Charlie the last couple of years as his skills diminished somewhat and you had to read the articles for him? What were your feelings on that?
So I disagree that I read the warrant articles because his skills diminished. I read the warrant articles because it was more effective. I have a good speaking voice, is from what I've been told. And it wasn't because Charlie couldn't read them. It was because, again, having different handing the warrant articles to town meeting members as they're walking in, they haven't had the opportunity to read the warrant articles. Trust me, before the next town meeting, I would have read through each of those 10 times, just like I do in preparation for anything. So no, I don't agree that it was, I was reading the articles because Charlie had diminished. And, I stood up on that stage at the last town meeting. And things are going to be different at this town meeting because the lighting is terrible. You can't see out. And there were changes. It's hard. Change is hard, but like even, when you've been moderator for 30 years, right? And we go to electronic voting, it's like, you've got to remember, we're electronic voting now. We're not raising our hands, but for 30 years you said, okay, everybody signal by raising your hand. So it's just, I disagree that it was because, whatever word you used,
No, it's just an assumption
Yeah.
that a lot of people have voiced in it.
Yeah.
That's why they.
No, he went out as a 90-year-old moderator. I think that's what he wanted. But again, me reading the articles, I wouldn't read anything into that other than having different people come up to the microphone reading the articles. Some people you could hear, some people you couldn't. It was just ease of town meeting to have me up there with a microphone with all the articles.
All right, very, very good. All right, well, I believe that's going to end their questions, but I would like to give you both an opportunity. I'm sorry? Yes, go ahead. Podium. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Podium.
If you don't mind, go to the, so everybody can hear. Sorry.
Sorry, just on behalf of the question that was just asked, that this thing is falling through, Chris. That was brought, and you remember, Glenn, as well as Doreen. We used to have each town meeting member read the motions. Nobody wanted to read the motions. That's why that came to be. So when COVID came along, it was easier to have one person reading them. So in Doreen, I think I was the last when you took over. And Charlie, when Chet unfortunately got sick, and Charlie, was the assistant moderator and was taking over the meetings, then Doreen started reading. But nobody wants to get up there and read those, and they actually works much better with one person reading them. So I just felt that I needed to say something. It came from me.
I just wanted some clarity on that because that.
Yeah, no, that-
mentioned to me by a few people.
That started with, let's try to get it easy. I was begging people to read articles.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. All right.
Yes, you did, and that's why we need one person.
All right, thank you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this to our candidates to give a closing speech. I'm going to leave it up to you, Glenn, to go first, and then Doreen right after.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you very much again, Brandon. I
Welcome,
appreciate it. Everyone here tonight and people watching on television at home. I'm running for town moderator because I believe I can be an effective leader and run an efficient, economical meeting and get people home at a decent hour, even if there are a lot of articles to be dealt with. And I would appreciate your consideration and your vote come Tuesday, the 20th. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. And Doreen, go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you again to our organizers and to Glenn for participating in and being a part of democracy of local government. It's humbling when you try to put something together for a forum like this. You doodle and you write down things and words and phrases, and, these are some of the things that I wrote down, and it is humbling. Dedicated, knowledgeable, experience, honesty, integrity, fairness, leadership, and respect. Those are some of the characteristics that I try to live by each and every day. Town meeting plays an infrequent but crucial role in the operation of our town government. Also crucial is an effective and knowledgeable town moderator. If elected as your next town moderator, I pledge to treat every town meeting member and those associated with town meeting with consideration and respect while adhering to the rules of order. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the two town moderators who I have served under and with, longtime moderator Charlie Baker and the late Chet Stencil. I'm proud to say my candidacy has been endorsed by the current town moderator, Charlie Baker. With your support, I believe that I can help Auburn continue to be a strong and successful example of the representative town meeting model. I would be honored to receive your vote for town moderator on Tuesday, May 20th, and allow me to continue to serve my community. Thank you for your consideration, and thank you.
All right, thank you both very much. All right. Well, that leads us on to the next part of our evening. So as you know, Mr. Steve Chambers to my right is running unopposed for selectman, and there's really no debate. So I'm going to leave this up to Steve to.
No, I
say what you would
appreciate
like
it.
to hear.
So,
Absolutely.
I agreed to do the debate. Hopefully, I was actually hoping that there would be more interest. I'm gonna also say maybe I'm doing the job that I was initially hired to do, as you guys voted me in 3 years ago. This is a seat for the residents. I did not want to pass on an opportunity if anyone had questions. They're always welcome to come to the select board meetings. I'm always available. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure I was available for any questions that may come up. I am unopposed, but there's always the potential for a write-in candidate as well. I don't take that for granted. And again, this is the resident's seat. And if they will vote me in again, I would love to serve 3 more years and continue working with the board that we have. And I think a lot of the words that Doreen just said speak true for all boards and in all elected positions. But I think the respect and the dedication and those types of things I've certainly brought to the existing board and the makeup. And if the voters want to reelect me, I would absolutely accept that. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Is there anybody here that would like to ask Steve a question? Go ahead, Mr. Go ahead, Doreen.
Thanks. So I think it's important to talk for a minute about the question that's on the ballot in May. I think we could easily have gone from, a contested moderator's race with maybe 7% turnout to possibly, 35 or 40% because of the question. Could you talk a little bit about the ballot question and specifically what your position is on it?
So the ballot question pertaining to the fire department.
Yes.
So that is on the ballot. It still needs to go through town meeting, and they need to approve that to send it to the voters. Due to timing, it's on there. Hopefully, town meeting will approve that. I've had a vested interest in this for a while. I know when we talked about the Public Safety Committee building, they came back and the numbers were astronomical. There's no denying a need for a fire station, and there is a long-term need to resolve the police station. I think we need to start thinking more strategically and not necessarily thinking about what the cost impact is today, but what it will be by not moving forward in the future. I think the select board voted to have a fire station committee, building committee, and they've done an excellent job making sure that it meets the needs of the fire department for today with some growth and takes into account the concerns for the budget. It's not going to be cheaper going forward, so we can continue to fight this. I mean, for many years, the town did not approve the schools, and that just kept getting more and more expensive. I think we need to take a long-term vision, and as a Board of Selectmen member, and I know the other members are aware of the budget constraints, we're looking at things that we can do more effectively and more efficiently to reduce that, but it's going to cost money, and it's a need. And we talk about when people come in saying we got to reduce costs, we've got to reduce costs. The first question most of us are asking is, well, where do we cut? Public safety is not one that I feel comfortable ever cutting. So if that's on the ballot and the town meeting members vote to send it to the ballot, I personally will be voting in favor of that because I know the work and effort that went into it is going to yield the best results. And if we don't move forward now, it's only going to cost us more in the long run.
Right. I agree with that too. I was a former firefighter, and in response to that, yeah, it costs money, a lot of money. But you can't put a price tag on safety and human life. And from what I've seen throughout the years, it's you want to make sure that our first responders, or police, or fire, or our EMS are well equipped for the job. And I agree with you on that. So absolutely. Sorry, I had to get that in there because I was a firefighter. Anybody else here would like to ask a question? Go ahead, Mr. Carpenter.
So it's nothing worse than dead air, so. The select board is being confronted with several challenges, 40B developments, building projects that are not meeting the deadlines or the budget that have been set by previous administrations. What do you do to prepare yourself as a member to work on those issues, and how do you help the administration getting to a conclusion and a resolution?
So specifically 40B, I mean, that's something I never expected to know as much information as I do about it. It is confronting the town. I'm not a big proponent of the law. I like the ideas behind it, but the way it's executed has always been a challenge. I know from my position on the board, I've asked many questions that even there's no answers to, right? It's very challenging because it hasn't been fully litigated on areas that are brought before the town and things that are that we're confronted with. But the main thing we can do better is we can have plans, and we can get those plans to the Attorney General, get them certified. Our housing production plan, we've done a lot of work with other boards in the past, and we haven't fully gone through and got those certified. So that puts us in a position where, yeah, that's great, we did all this planning, but if it's not on the books, it doesn't count. So that has opened up a door that we need to close. I would continue to make sure that we are asking the follow-up questions, making sure that it is certified and not just, yes, we have a plan, but when did it go out? When will it be certified? Is it, are there issues that are coming back to the town that we have to address? Because we're not perfect, and we'll certainly submit things to the state that are getting revised or rejected, and how do we address that? And we'll see articles on town meeting trying to address things to make us more compliant. I don't always like what those are, but at the same time, I'm not here to fight the state. I'm here to find out what's best for our town and make sure we're letting the state know what is best for our town and why we're doing things. So I guess to summarize what it is I will continue to ask the questions. I will continue to ask for follow-up, and hopefully with the rest of the board's support, we'll get the answers that we need and make sure that we're compliant and we're not dropping anything down the road. And this is just with 40B, but with other things, the 40B just is the hot button issue at this time.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
I had one question.
Sure, absolutely.
Steve, at what point are we at with the search for a new town manager?
So the last meeting with the select board, Mr. Kastanovich came in with, I believe, Paradigm Associates is, they're going to be presenting candidates to us, the select board, on the 13th of May, and which point we'll be interviewing them, as well as, I believe, on the 14th, they're looking to schedule for the residents to have access to the candidates. Currently, there are 3 candidates. There was a 4th one that just before the meeting had decided they're no longer viable or want to be in the process. So as of this morning, we still had 3 candidates. And once those names are released, the board will start doing their research on those candidates. The residents can certainly do that as well. And they'll have their opportunity to meet them, I believe, on the 14th. And more information will be forthcoming on that.
Excellent. All right. Anyone else? Okay, perfect. All right, well, like I said, it's going to be short, quick, simple. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Love seeing this. This is great, everybody together. I'd like to thank Dorian Goodrich and Mr. Glenn Fellman for joining me tonight for the debate. Thank you very much, and I wish you both the best with this upcoming election. Steve, I wish you the best with the upcoming election. Hope everything goes well, like a well-oiled machine.
Brandon, before
Yes.
we close out, can I just talk one thing about
Absolutely.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
So since our current town clerk isn't here, I just want to remind everyone that voting is May 20th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And although we don't have technically what's called early voting, you can request an absentee ballot. It's important that if you won't be here on the 20th, that you do request an absentee ballot. They'll mail you your ballot, and then you mail it back. Early voting isn't happening in this town election. It's 2 different things, early voting and absentee voting. But if you can't be there on the 20th, you can still vote. Don't be concerned with that.
Awesome,
So
thank you.
thanks for letting me.
Oh, no,
Get
thank
that
you.
in.
I'm glad you said it, because I wouldn't have said it. So, all right. With that being said, thanks again. It's another year that I get to do this. I enjoy it. It's great to see everybody here. It's the town of Auburn. This is our town. So, moved here 5 years ago. I love it. Got nowhere else to go, but staying right here.
Good.
I love it. I love everything about this town. I love everybody here.
So do we.
And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And I think everybody's doing a good job. So thanks again. Get out and vote. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Take care.